On this episode of UTR, we're back in the Ann Arbor area with more cool stuff for you to consider. We'll show you a hot museum, taste some Korean cuisine, and build furniture for a fresh future. We'll also meet a family that baked a new life and an artist who works right under your feet. Get ready to explore the cool people, places, and things that make Michigan a great place to be.
City by city, town after town, one sidewalk blends into another. But there is a place where every street is different. Every corner plays a new song. Every day is a festival. Where storefronts, cafes, and artists all say, mix it up. Take another taste. Linger a little longer. Ann Arbor does it up different. Ann Arbor does it pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
The Michigan Economic Development Corporation, dedicated to shared economic success. MEDC promotes the state's assets and opportunities that support business investment, job growth, and community vitality. Support provided by DestinationAnnArbor.org, your gateway to Chelsea, Dexter, Manchester, Milan, Saline, Ypsilanti, and Ann Arbor. A visit to the Stalls Automotive Museum will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. In addition to beautiful cars, enjoy the collection of gas pumps, road signs, oil cans, and other car-related accessories. Info at stallsauto.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalden, and this is Under the Radar, Michigan. You know, there's a reason why whenever you mention the Ann Arbor area, people usually say, oh yeah, man, that's cool. Because it is.
Ann Arbor and its surrounding communities have a reputation of being some of the hippest, most enlightened, and progressive places to play or put down roots on this entire round earth. And because of the University of Michigan and Eastern Michigan University, young people are perpetually pushing boundaries in these parts. Not to mention the fact that the culinary collective here is crazy good. And the incredible beauty and history of this area will have you hunting for treasures far and wide. Heck, Depot Town in Ypsilanti just received a national award for being one of America's top 5 greatest streets. Bam!
Yep, the Ann Arbor area is a cool place to be, and I'm here to show you some places to see. So as a wiser man than I once said, what are we waiting for?
The Ann Arbor area is located in southeast Lower Michigan, in and around the town many refer to as A squared.
Do you ever wonder where classic fire trucks go when they're done making runs? Well, guess what? I found out. Hint, hint.
What is it about fire engines that fascinate all of us to this day? Well, I'll tell you what, they're cool, and something every kid and even grown-up wishes they could ride in. Well, here at the Michigan Firehouse Museum in Ypsilanti, you'll see the whole history of these incredible machines and this honorable profession laid out before your very eyes. Al Dyer is a former firefighter who helps this firehouse function. And when it comes to talking about this awesome collection, he got me pretty fired up.
What is it about fire trucks and fire engines that we all love?
I think it's just the noise they make, the lights, you know.
Yeah, one thing the fire department does not need is a PR person, because you guys have the best PR. Everybody loves firemen, everybody loves the equipment. And speaking of the equipment, this place is amazing. You've got fire trucks that go, or firefighting machines that go back as far as how?
Well, I'd say probably mid-1800s, if not later.
Amazing. And how big is this place?
Oh, it's big. I don't know the actual square footage, but it's a very large museum. It's 3 stories technically with the mezzanine. We have the main floor, we have a basement, plus we actually have the old 1898 firehouse over there.
Yeah, now, so this used to actually be a firehouse?
Yep, correct. It was built in 1898, City Ypsilanti Fire Department. It was actually active firehouse till 1975.
I heard it actually caught fire once, too.
Correct, they actually caught fire twice. So yeah, I believe it caught fire in 1919 and again in 1921. And if you go up into the attic, you can actually take a look at the rafters and they're still charred from that fire.
Oh my gosh. One of the things I noticed about some of these older firefighting instruments is how ornate they are. They look like something that was built for the opera or for the circus or something.
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah, they're works of art. If you take a look at some of our hose reels, we have some old hand pumps. They're gorgeous. And then you get up to the steamers where the actual construction of the steamer itself is brass and chrome and copper. They're just beautiful pieces of equipment.
now, a lot of people don't go to museums because they're stuffier. It's just history. I mean, who cares about history? But this museum, it's so much more fun just because of the content.
Yes.
And you were an actual fire chief.
Correct. Yeah.
How cool is that?
I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, in a few short steps, Al and I traveled back over 100 years to a time when firefighting was horse-powered. Literally.
So this is the original firehouse.
Yes, this is the original 1898 firehouse that was in full service till 1975.
You can feel the history in here, and you can smell it, too. It smells like an old firehouse.
Yes, it does. It smells, this is old wood and metal and just, I'm sure the horses had to contributing to that for back in the days. But,
All right. Those are very well-behaved horses.
yes, they are. Now, we actually put our horses through the same schools we did our Dalmatians, so they're very trained very well.
No, you must get a tremendous kick out of seeing people's faces when they come in here. I mean, kids, adults, everybody, and they see this stuff, and they can, it must be a blast.
It's a blast.
This really is a hidden gem that's under a lot of people's radar, and now that I've been here, I mean, I could always tell a place at school when I go in and I go, the first thing I think is, I gotta bring my family back here.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, this is an awesome
Yep.
place.
Yeah, we welcome everybody to come in.
If firefighting was always a fantasy for you, or you just want to see some incredible history and learn some simple fire safety, check out the Michigan Firehouse Museum in Ypsilanti. It's great firefighting fun for the whole family.
I heard that Korean food was really good, so I called over there for some carryout. Took a week to get my food. Not good.
So I figured out a better way. It's called Miss Kim Korean Restaurant, and it's right here in Ann Arbor. Now, you may remember Ji-Hae Kim from such TV shows as Under the Radar, episode 107. That's back when she was the official cheese chooser at Zingerman's Deli. Well, guess what? She got inspired, stepped out, and opened up her own brick and mortar. Only this one's filled with fantastic food where she's from. And people are telling me it's the real Korean deal.
Okay, be honest. Do you even remember being on Under the Radar?
Kind of don't.
You kind of don't? It was 8 years ago.
Okay.
We were at Zingerman's Deli talking to Ari, and he said, you simply have to talk with our cheese expert. And we went over, and you were wearing, do you still have that hat? You were wearing this wonderful, silly hat. And you don't remember this, dude. This is awesome.
I have several silly hats. I'm trying to remember which one I embarrassed myself in.
Well, you knew so much about cheese. Are you a real cheese expert as well, or do you just play one on TV?
I just play one on TV.
Okay.
No, I think at the time I had a lot of knowledge. Now I'm probably a little off.
But now you're doing your own restaurant. How does that feel?
No, that feels wonderful. Well, it feels tough, but it feels great at the end of the day.
Yeah, restaurant business, it's a labor of love because you have to completely love it.
Yeah.
And it has to be a passion for you.
Yeah.
So-
You know what I love about it?
What?
Like the people, but also it's never boring. Never boring.
Now, you were actually born in Korea?
I was born in Korea, and then I came here when I was 13.
What is unique about Korean food?
I think what's unique about Korean is its treatment of vegetables. There's a lot of fermentation, yeah, and how easy and simple it can be, because there are three mother sauces in Korea. So there's 간장, which is soy sauce, doenjang, which is fermented soy paste, and then gochujang, which is fermented chili paste. And
I have some of that in my fridge.
it is delicious.
Yes, it's very
good on
spicy.
everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you add a little bit of that to anything,
Yeah.
and it's, yes.
Yeah, and I think those three things takes a lot of technique and a lot of time to make. But if you have those, utilizing them with whatever you have in the fridge actually takes shorter amount of time because all the efforts and the time has already been built into those mother sauces. And those three sauces come from like the desire to preserve things. Yeah, so I think that's really interesting.
That's what I personally love with my experience with Korean food is it's so much more multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
I mean, in my house, it was like, we're gonna can some tomatoes, and we just salt, tomatoes, can, boil, But yeah, the range of spices and the kimchis and the sauces
Yeah.
are just, it's endless.
Yeah, it's delicious, and I think I do not necessarily take the rigid approach to Korean food. I try to understand the philosophy behind the Korean food, like preservation, fermentation, seasonality, locality. I mean, what that tells me is that a bit of playing around, especially using what's available in your town, is totally okay. And I think that's actually behind a lot of long world cuisine.
Now, I know your name is Kim.
Yeah.
But is that why you named the restaurant Miss Kim?
No, I'm actually a natural introvert, and they would sound too egotistical to me. I was thinking of a name, and we thought of like 2 million names, and none of it was good enough until I was thinking, like, what do I want to convey in a name? And I thought, like, I wanted to clearly communicate that it's a Korean restaurant. And Kim is like the most popular Korean last name. And then I wanted to, I'm like incredibly proud that this is a woman-owned business. And yes, yeah. My mother was a small business owner.
She's a woman too.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, surprise. Yeah. So I wanted to clearly say that this is a woman-owned business and we do Korean food. So that's where the name Miss Kim came from.
Ji-hye really is a special chef who has a totally enlightened and almost zen-like approach to her food. And the colors, flavors, textures, and totally tantalizing treats we tried were as if they came from another wonderful world. So don't wait a week for your authentic Korean culinary creations to come in the mail. Just get yourself to Miss Kim Korean Restaurant in Ann Arbor. And before you know it, they'll be right in front of you. I can't pronounce it, but I sure love it.
You know, we all make mistakes. I've made plenty, but we all deserve a second chance, or 3 or 4. Well, here's a place that's reclaiming wood, reclaiming lives, and making the world a much better place.
I'm talking about Urban Ashes in Saline, a picture frame manufacturer and custom furniture builder that opened its doors to former prisoners, gave them a way to survive and thrive, and is now becoming known around the world. In 2009, Paul Hickman had a vision to stop wasting resources, and the two he picked were wood and people.
You know, a lot of companies are concerned mainly with the bottom line. When did you decide to give your company a heart and a soul?
Before we even started it.
Really?
Yeah, it started during the peak of the Emerald Ash Borer. And so we came up with the idea of picture frames. And one of the guys that I originally worked with on this, a guy named Jason Bing, and we started talking about this, we got to come up with a brand or something that we can scale. And he's the one who threw out and said, yeah, it needs to focus on people with barriers to employment. And he was talking about returning citizens, people coming out of the prison system, coming back. Yeah.
Reclaiming people.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I knew a lot about working with salvage wood. I've been doing that since the early 90s. So I had a lot in that realm. And that was always kind of my focus initially. Then the people part of it, Jason brought to the table. Obviously, we want to sell as many frames and furnishings as possible, but my goal is to get the general public and other businesses to start adopting these practices because we've got huge numbers of people. We have over 2 million people incarcerated in this country right now. Over 90% of them are going to come home at some point. What are we doing with them?
What kind of feedback do you get from them on what this place is doing for them, and what you're doing for them?
I'm gonna let you ask them that. I hear it all the time, but I'm always a little uncomfortable answering for them.
Well, if you really want to know if Paul's business mantra for mankind is making a difference, just talk to the guys who are working hard to help him make it happen.
Like, our motto is saving trees and saving lives, and you know, I don't even think Paul really knows the impact he has on all of us that come here and like are struggling to find a job because of our past. And you know, he's given everybody that second chance, that when he has time to hire people, that's who he's looking for, and he's wanting to help other people and salvage people just like he's salvaging wood, you know, and it's a great experience.
It's definitely given me a lot of opportunities, but the thing about opportunities is I believe everybody always have a surmountable amount of opportunities. The thing comes in two parts of that equation. One, do you know what to do with the opportunities when you face with them? And two, can you even recognize the opportunities that's available and that's there?
Working on the wood is a lot like working on myself. So a lot of this wood was tossed out, stuff people don't want to use, yet it has a lot of properties to it. It's beautiful. There's a lot of strange kinks in it that make it work wonders when it's finished. And I mean, not at all trying to brag about myself, but in a similar way, I was trying to throw myself out. And here I am. And I'm not finished by any means, but I'm definitely getting to a good place.
You know, forgiveness is a wonderful thing, but combine it with something special made from reclaimed and beautifully restored wood, and you've got a great place to break bread with any and all kinds of people. And let's face it, isn't that what life's really all about? Now, you're about to meet a family who decided it was time to leave Cambodia, time to start a new life, and eventually,
That's right. Time to make the donuts. Donuts. I love you.
if you want a bakery with heart and soul, Dom Bakery in Ypsilanti is it. Almost 40 years ago, Faye and his wife Lee came all the way from Cambodia looking for the American dream. And not only did they find it, they're actually frosting some of it and filling some with cream. The bakery is conveniently located right down the street from Eastern Michigan University. Can you say study fuel? It's also frequented by folks as old as me, because let's face it, these sweet treats bridge all the generations. Now, before I dive into my first of many donuts, I thought a little dialogue with Lee and her son Paul would be lovely. Now, Lee, I understand you're very shy, so thank you very much for being on camera with me. But you need to answer one question for me. Are donuts really the national food of Cambodia?
No,
No.
we just came here. We just came here. We know they have donut here.
Where did you learn to make the donuts?
I learned from friends. They have a shop, and then after that, and then I didn't know what to do because I just got here. I didn't speak English good, and then I went to the donut shop and learned how to sell the donut.
And Paul, you've been working, the whole family works here, right? It's a family affair? Has it brought the family closer together, or are you just all addicted to donuts?
Oh yeah, it's brought the family closer together since we're always working and we see each other every day.
So your dad's the master baker back there, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
He works very hard, I noticed.
Every day.
When do you guys rest?
No choice.
No choice, you're just here.
It's like major holidays. We close for like a day
For
or
15
a half
minutes,
day.
right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But we find time to rest.
You came here, you have a successful business, wonderful children. I'm assuming you're wonderful. You look wonderful. Does that make you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy because I came in, and then I want my children to be happy. That's why I'm working hard.
Oh, that is so well said, because that's all we ever want for our children is for them to be happy. I don't care if they're rich or poor, as long as they're happy, that's all you want. One last question. How come you guys are so thin? You guys make donuts all day.
You get tired of them after a while. She eats donuts every day, right?
Where do they go? How do you even do that?
Always up and going, yeah. She's always running around, so she probably burns off all the calories.
So if donuts are a superfood to you, head to Dom Bakery in Ypsilanti. They'll fill your mind, body, and soul with something that's as much fun to make as it is to eat. But personally, I like the eating part better. You know, sometimes when you're an up-and-coming artist, it feels like people are walking all over your work. Well, here's an artist who's world-renowned, and people are still walking all over his work. But that's okay. He likes it that way. I'm, of course, talking about the one and only David Zinn, an artist who's not only known for his traditional art and design, he's also known for creating some of the most innovative and downright magical sidewalk chalk art you'll ever encounter. These drawings may be temporary, but they've left a lasting impression on young and old around the world. Lucky for us, Ann Arbor is his stomping ground. And that's exactly where we found him, on the ground, chalk in hand. Now, David, this is how well known you are. I mentioned your name 2 weeks ago to Alexa, who works with us, and she goes, "Oh yeah, David Zinn. Yeah, I followed him on Instagram." It's like, I mean, everybody knows you but me. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'll forgive you.
Do you do sidewalk art because it keeps you connected to your inner artistic child, or?
That's actually a good description of a big part of it. When I was a kid, I doodled constantly.
Yeah.
Also when I was a teenager and after I was an adult, to be fair. But the main thing that I've learned doing this kind of work in public and talking to people, because you can't make art in public without talking to people about art, A lot of people want you to believe that they never drew a picture in their lives. And they're all either forgetful or lying, because we all at one point were that little kid who knew how to hold a crayon but hadn't learned how to write yet.
Well, the neat thing about what you do is these are like what I call like little gifts to the community. It's like you're walking down the street, you've got so many things on your mind, you look down and there's this magical, almost mystical fairy tale type creature staring up at you in this three-dimensional, world that you've created with just little cracks in the sidewalk. Now, there's a name for that, and I actually wrote it down.
Ooh,
it's
good.
called periodolic anamorphosis.
Yeah, peridolic anamorphosis.
Okay, I didn't even say it right, and I wrote it down.
Or anamorphic pareidolia, it's your choice. That's two parts. Anamorphosis is a trick a lot of street artists, especially chalk artists, use, which is a flat drawing that looks three-dimensional when seen from just the right angle. Now, pareidolia is actually something that we all do. Every person's brain has this beautiful, actual scientific thing that sounds like a Harry Potter spell in it. It's why we see the man in the moon. It's why if you see little puffy clouds, they start to look like things that aren't just little puffy clouds. It's where constellations come from.
Is that why I see faces in the wallpaper?
Exactly.
Yes. I see faces all the time.
Because your brain is always on the lookout for things that make sense. Your brain doesn't like random stuff. Your brain likes faces and patterns and stuff. And one of the best reasons to draw on the sidewalk, as compared to a boring blank piece of paper, is that there's always stuff. Everywhere you go, there's little streaks and cracks and little specks and pebbles and things.
Yeah.
And if you stare at them for any amount of time, your pareidolia will start to connect the dots, makes it look like stuff. So in terms of having the problem that I have, that clearly a lot of people who've talked to me have, of not knowing what to draw, not a problem. You just draw what wants to be there.
Do you actually go out and search for little places that have cracks and little holes in the sidewalk? And
one of the best things about Ann Arbor is it's a very good walking town. And so I'm always walking places. And I stare at the ground while I walk, because I don't want to trip. And I keep seeing things that want to be things.
That's the brilliance of creative people like you, is you see things, I mean, we all see things, but you see things beyond what we see. And it just helps turn the community into something a little more special. I love art. I love murals. I think it's the icing on the cake, artistically of, towns. But the things you see are just amazing to me.
Everybody has these crazy artistic thoughts. And really, if anything makes a difference between an artist and a non-artist, I'm not sure there is any difference. It's actually thinking, you know what, I'm gonna do that crazy thing. I'm gonna be that one guy amongst all these people who are walking to get somewhere important, who's crouching on the ground for no good reason, just because wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah.
And I think wouldn't it be cool is an excellent starting place for any kind of art.
I got one last question for you, and be honest, do you get sad when it rains?
Actually, no. And it's important to make this point, especially as it might get more people to make art. Saving art is not the fun part of art. Making art is the best part of art. What I most enjoy about drawing on the sidewalk is the fact that because this is going to wash away in the rain, I have no time to get too worked up about what's going to happen to this art. I might as well just do something that makes me happy. And then tomorrow, if it rains tonight, I'll draw something else on this exact same spot. There are places in Ann Arbor, 1 square of sidewalk, where I've drawn 5 separate masterpieces. And if the first one had been permanent, the other 4 wouldn't have happened.
It's the journey.
Exactly.
So next time you're walking down the sidewalk and you see a magical little creature at your feet that somehow seamlessly blends into its surroundings, don't be afraid to smile, because you can bet David Zinn is creating another one right around the corner. Also, don't be afraid to visit the Ann Arbor area real soon, because the sooner you get here, the sooner you'll see why this is the place to be. Or my name ain't Tom UTR Dalden. I just made that up.
City by city, town after town, one sidewalk blends into another. But there is a place where every street is different. Every corner plays a new song. Every day is a festival. Where storefronts, cafes, and artists all say, mix it up. Take another taste. Linger a little longer. Ann Arbor does it up different. Ann Arbor does it pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
Support provided by DestinationAnnArbor.org, your gateway to Chelsea, Dexter, Manchester, Milan, Saline, Ypsilanti, and Ann Arbor. A visit to the Stalls Automotive Museum will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. In addition to beautiful cars, enjoy the collection of gas pumps, road signs, oil cans, and other car-related accessories. Info at stallsauto.com. There's something special about the pride, the skill, and the passion it takes to build something great. The Construction Association of Michigan, CAM, understands that passion and has been providing contractors with the resources they need since 1885.